Good morning, everyone. Hey, yeah, how you doing?
Good, good, good. Good morning.
Yeah, you're looking cute with
How are
that
you?
color there. Hello,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Welcome to Auntie Yaa'S Book Corner. It's another Saturday. We welcome you to our program today. My name is Yafoda Tobra and my co-host Yabuatma Boating Russell. We're glad Ya can be here today. She's off. Thank God. So
Yes.
I hope that, everybody had a good week. It's supposed to be spring, but we get this bout of off and on snow. I thought we were okay. I'm coming downstairs and I see it falling again, but it melts on contact, so that is good.
Oh, okay.
But, when will spring be spring, right?
The time
Anyways,
has already sprung, but the weather is
it
refusing.
has. This is the thing. Winter wasn't wintering. Now it's trying to winter in spring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to go share. I'll leave you to chat with
Okay. Hi,
people.
everyone. Yeah. Hello, Ajwa. Looking forward to
Looking
discussing
forward
with you.
to today.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is going to be an interesting topic. I guess the other time I wasn't here when you guys dealt trauma as an
Mhm.
intro. Yeah, learning about it, and um we're always, I mean, anyway, usually I stop myself from going into the topic of today because I might say everything I have, and then
Yeah,
when we're talking I might be repeating myself.
and
So
that will be
yeah.
that.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It is an interesting one. Um, yeah. Um, Today I don't even know what to say. Ajua, could you text something? Write something. I'm coming out of a flu actually.
Oh, you
So
are? Oh, sorry.
yeah, yeah.
That's
It
just
was.
too bad.
It is at a point I suspected having the vid because,
Oh, aren't
but
we
I don't
tired?
think it is. When
Aren't we tired of that vid?
Oh my. That's the name Sean has given it. He
Mm-hmm.
was the one who brought my attention to it. He said it might be the vid, and I said it's not. But
Oh,
yeah.
dear. Wow.
Yeah. And I've had to, you know, go to school and come back, go to work with it because
Hmm.
I didn't want to miss anything. Anyway, when you're older, you're going back to school. Man, it's hard. It's hard.
Old? What is that?
I know what's old. Okay, when you've been away from school for a long time, let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going back, I mean,
Hmm.
I find myself reading thing like a sentence 3 times
Mm-hmm.
in
I
order to
hear you
get
on
it.
that one.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's
I
not
mean,
easy.
mm-hmm. But that is not an excuse to, you know, not to
Yeah.
do it. So I'm pushing it, and I hope you guys will be rooting for me.
Yes, why would we not? Excuse me?
I know this is where I get my support from. So
Hmm. Come on
yeah.
now. We are.
Hmm. Let's go. Yeah. Anyway, so that
Keep
is something that
talking.
we,
Just
yeah,
keep
that
talking.
is something that we, well, this platform is for that, right? We keep saying that
Mm-hmm.
age is not an excuse not to do something. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have to live it so you guys would know that we're not just here to talk and to say things that um, we ourselves are not practicing or trying to do. We are trying to do these things, and also we also learn from you guys because when you contribute to the program, there are things that add on to what we already have. So don't stop sharing with us or contributing or asking questions because sometimes questions also allow us to, go back and dig deeper. Sometimes you know something, but a question might um, let you dig deeper to know more about it or look at it from a different angle, because we're all different, and we might read the same sentence and get different meanings from it. The same way, um, would know a topic but have different angles that we kind of analyze it from. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Oh,
um, okay, so hello, Auntie Ya and Sister Ya, my woman's regret.
hello.
Please, who's face use booker? Facebook user.
Yeah.
Hello, Sister Afi, how are you? Oh, it is cool.
Hello.
That's good. Hello, Nanaraba.
Hi.
How
Thank
is
you.
my great people? And
Mm,
Sister Joy says we need to learn to heal by working on ourselves to live our lives to the fullest and be more happier. So,
yes.
a few weeks ago, we were here speaking about dealing with trauma because it is a big one for us, especially in our community. So, we had Sister Adwo Odo. Hello, Pastor P.
I
Good
suspected.
morning to you. Mwah. Yes, so I will bring her on and do the introductions, and then we will go from there. Good morning, Sister Ajua. So,
Good
Sister
morning.
Ajua, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good, thanks. So,
Hello,
Sister,
everybody.
Hi.
Sister Ajua, Ajua Sasu Mensah is an author and a trauma survivor. Her book, Unveiling Your Life, A Guide to Breaking Free and Reclaiming Control of My Life, came out last year. As a trauma survivor, Ajua is acutely aware of the debilitating effect on one's sense of security, emotional well being, and relationships. Ajua is here to share some insights and nuggets from her experience. So, I'm getting some feedback. So, at that time, we talked about dealing with trauma. So, we discussed what trauma was, the types of trauma, the symptoms, and then the feelings and consequences of it. So today we are here to continue that discussion. And today's topic is healing from trauma. So, Sister Ya Russell, do you have any comments before we bring Sister Ajua in to start?
Oh,
Mhm.
well, Ajua always gives me energy because she's always full of energy. When she came on, I find myself, smiling more, and um yeah, and I have her book here, so
Yes,
yeah, I am I am very happy. She's very supportive, and yeah, she's awesome. I mean,
that
I don't
is
know
how
what
we do
else.
it. So,
Yeah.
Obapa Nanaraba. Yes, this is what I call sisterhood. To say supporting each other.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
like it doesn't have to be something big, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times, we tend to want other people to save us, right? And
Mhm.
that does not work because it makes things worse than it needs to be. When we talk about trauma, there are a lot of branches because we each respond to things differently. Something I that may affect me psychologically and emotionally, Sister Ya, Guatemala, it may affect you in a different form, right? And
Mhm.
then for Sister Yatobra may be different for her. And then for
Right.
somebody, they would think, say, oh, this is something, it's not a big deal. Why are they making a big deal out of that?
Mhm.
Our level of, our brain and our emotions are on different levels. So we deal with
Mhm.
things differently. We all understand that women are built to take on a lot of things, right? Because that's how we are. Sometimes we go through things and then we hold on to it thinking that as time goes on, it will work itself out. But
Mhm.
in trauma, there are three things that happens. And I'm speaking from my experience, my understanding. I'm not speaking from study says, and psychologists and stuff like that, but it might be in line with what study says or psychologists or research said.
Mm-hmm.
What I have come to realize that when we each go through trauma, it's either we become the abuser, the victim, right? And then the third one, which is something that most of us do a lot, is to just keep things in, bottle things in. We don't want to do nothing about it. We feel like by not addressing it, it will go on its own. And that will never happen, because the more you hold on to things, that is when you have it develop into mental health, whereas some people become anxious about things, right? They
Yeah.
have a fear of going outside and thinking that if I step outside, uh, um, tender might strike me, right? Or I can get hit by a car, or a tree might fall on me. Like, they have that thinking firm, or
So,
someone,
Sister Joa, sorry
yeah.
if I may interject. For those who have come on, we are dealing with healing from trauma. A few weeks ago, we had Sister Joa on, and we talked about dealing with trauma. So the question now is, how do we heal? So this is a big topic. So that is what she's going to be speaking about. So I think she's given an overview, and so the question becomes, why must we heal? It's like we'll flow between healing from trauma and then why must we heal? So you can continue now.
Yeah, so it's like, some people may develop depression, or, have bipolar and so many other mental health issues. It's through their trauma, because they did not have the necessary counseling or the help that they need to really talk about things. Sometimes you only need someone to just express themselves. Some people, they looking for you giving them an ear to listen to. They're not asking much. But when it comes to our culture and society, most of us don't want to be bothered, right? Even when you go into relationship marriages, it plays part in it, right? Because sometimes situation may not be a big deal, but we may turn it into arguments and fights and misunderstanding and accusation and so many things. So why must we heal from trauma? We need to stop dwelling and regretting on the past, because there is nothing we can do to change
Mhm.
our past, right? Worrying about the future because of what you worry about, it will never happen, because when you start worrying about things, it hasn't happened. So why must we worry about something that has not taken shape, right?
Right.
um Exactly. And then because you waste a lot of energy and time by worrying about things that has not happened. It's very important. This is the big one, and Sister Ya has written about it when it comes to own it, right? Taking responsibility. We need to take responsibility for our own happiness, right? And we can never achieve that if we're looking for other people to save us, the boyfriend, the husband, the children, the aunties, the uncles, the best friends, the government and stuff. Everything stands on us. So we need to start dealing with things
Yeah.
on our own, and then identify if we need counseling, if we can learn coping skills to help ourselves. Auntie, since do you
Mm.
want to ask something before? I don't want to take over everything.
So yeah, do you have any questions for her?
Um. Oh, I didn't think about questions. Why?
Mhm.
I didn't really think about questions,
Don't worry.
but I.
It's okay. So not to put you on the spot, like you're saying, identify counseling. Like, okay, with us, are we given? We have this perception of going to counseling. You know, I'm not even sure how to express it, but what I say is that we are very harsh. We come from a harsh environment. Like, You made a comment that if somebody is going through something, people react differently. Oh, wait a crying now. You are making a molehill out of a. As for us, we are tough. Like you are a human being. There comes a point that you'll break. So you can't look at what everybody is doing. Do what is best for you. And especially if you live in the diaspora, there's a lot of resources available. So we as a people, we need to stop living by the school of public opinion, as I call it. Outside people are determining how you should live your life. You make that decision. It's only a call away. Everything is online. If you look at the mental health, wellness, whatever, you'll find something, even in your area, your locale. Um, you know, I live in the north side of Edmonton. So if I needed something like that, I would look at the north side and find some numbers. So that's something that we should be aware of. Don't live in ignorance. Where you live now, there's everything available for you, including even for your kids. So, sis, you can carry on. Mhm.
Yeah.
I just had something that I wanted to add. I didn't have questions, but why must we heal? It's like I was looking at it like living life with a whole lot of baggage or load behind
Mhm.
you or at your back. So you're you're not able to live life fully. You're not
Mhm.
able to live life to your best. Because in this bag you have anger, you have anxiety and depression, as Ajwa said, sometimes even
Mhm.
shame and guilt. And with all that load, there's no way you can live life to the fullest. So it's better we unload
Mhm.
or unpack that baggage and, you know, be able to live life like we're supposed to and be fulfilled. Yeah.
Most definitely. I mean, when it comes to trauma, right? It's important. We need to understand that when you are being abused, that falls
Mhm.
into trauma. When
Right.
you get angry, it's true trauma. Being having a fear, that's true trauma. And then some people, even when you have PTSD, right?
Right.
It's through trauma, because when a woman has a child, right, and then a lot of things going on, they start feeling certain ways. Sometimes they get so stressed out and depressed, they can develop PTSD. And some people
Mm,
may be like, it's okay, you a woman, the women have children. We shouldn't disregard it like that.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when it comes,
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly, when it comes to counseling, Sister Ya pointed out, in our community, Ghanaians, the letter they say, when you
I've
see
been there for.
there is something seriously wrong with you, but keep in
Mm-hmm.
mind, you don't have to be really sick to see a counselor. The counselor is there to help you manage your anxiety, help you manage things that has affect you emotionally and psychologically. Most
Right.
Ghanaians, Africans do not think about the emotional and the psychological aspect, which is the most dangerous one in contrast to being physically abused.
Physical.
I'm not
Mhm.
condoning physical abuse because I do not tolerate with that. But I'm just saying, when you are hit, you will get swollen or you will get bruises, right? At some point down the line, it will go away. The emotional and the psychological aspect stays with you for almost forever if you
Yeah.
don't work on it. And that will affect your relationship, your marriages, even your work, everything that we need to do in life. So don't disregard it. Even the littlest thing. Some of you can learn coping skill, how to effectively express yourself,
Mhm.
how to talk to people
Mhm.
constructively for them to understand where you're coming from. On
Mm.
social media, there's a lot of cyberbullying. Even when you share your personal opinion, somebody think that they're smarter than you. They come in to correct you. You don't know where
Right.
I'm coming from. We have different opinions. If you want me to accept yours, you also have to accept mine as to whether or not you agree with me or not. Because I'm not asking anybody, or we're not, sorry guys, I'm not asking anyone to,
Babysitting duties.
to think the same way that I think, right? But just because you don't agree with me doesn't necessarily mean that I'm wrong or you are wrong. We just need to be respectful and set clear boundaries. Don't judge someone because the person is telling their story. You don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Right? We have to show more, we have to be more empathized. We have to show compassion and be receptive to other people. We don't like to read, but when you read a lot, you get a sense of understanding where a lot of people are coming from. So I think that's where the difficulties, a lot of people don't heal because they are fearful of being judged, being labeled, or being bullied, or being victimized. So a lot of times people keep their trauma to themselves. They don't say nothing. They just zip it.
So I have a question. In cases like this, what can it take for a person to break out of it? Is it that they have to come to that realization themselves, or can well-meaning people help them? Or we're talking about this topic, but somebody can just come and listen and go away. Oh yeah, that's me. I also don't talk about it. Yes. And then they are still sitting with a problem. And they may be living in the diaspora. Like I said, the resources are available. Even in Ghana, there's resources available if you look for it, So is there any way, I don't know, is it like public service announcements or awareness or what have you? Is it something that the community is invested in? Is it a priority for us? Is it talked about? Like here, you hear it, you see it on the TV, cyberbullying, kids, this, that, we've had situations where kids have been cyberbullied and unfortunately some have committed suicide. So you see their parents become advocates and then, push to make laws or things that, to along those areas. But somehow, this is going on in the 21st century, and it seems to be something still lacking at our end. So, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I will encourage our community, society, and Africans, people who have gone through trauma, is don't wait till something serious happens before you get the help or you start that discussion, right? In many cases, the best possible way, what you're going through. So trying to figure out uh, where do you need to start. The first, for me, my first, breakthrough was me being receptive to what I went through, right? Accepting that it wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I just happened to be with some family members um, who were ignorant, right? Because I can't say they didn't know they were doing because they were adults and I was a child. So I didn't know better. But they did not teach me anything aside from inflicting pain, right? And affecting doing things that affect me emotionally and psychologically, and just having people understand that you can't tell me how I should feel. I need to be able to express how I'm feeling freely without being judged. Because I remember prior to writing the book, some people closer to me, I mean, I'm grateful for my younger sister, my husband, my parents, they are very supportive. But you have some people, who were saying that, oh, you should have spoken to I think it would have been better to speak about it before you wrote the book. I mean, how when do we speak about it first? This is something that I have within me, something that I experience, right? Emotionally, psychologically, physically, and I'm just speaking my story. So you can't tell me I need to come discuss with you and tell me what to write. That's not gonna help, right? And then Sister I would say Katasumomo. So I told you the tree because
I was thinking that.
so I needed to break free. That's why, the title says Unveiling My Life, a guideline to breaking free and reclaiming my life.
Yeah.
This is about me. It has nothing to do with any family member. If you did not do nothing to me, you don't need to worry about it. Your name is not about, right? So it's like I'm not ready to say, okay, I'm just going to talk about it and then let it go, because before I wrote the book, I have so much things pressing me down on my chest. Every time there were triggers, right?
Mhm.
Trauma can result from any stressful event
Mm-hmm.
involving something to your safety,
Mm-hmm.
emotional aspect, psychologically, and physical. Because sometimes when you go through trauma, you have deja vu, a lot of deja vu. Someone will say something or do something, and it will trigger something. I remember, like, my parents who born me did not beat me or flog me as much as one of my uncle, which is Uncle Mo in the book. This man flogged me senselessly, and I felt like it was something that was not even needed, right? What did I learn from flogging? Pain. I remember when I first migrated to US and joined my parents. If my dad is talking to me, because when I see a male figure and they get closer to me, I will lift my hand up, like, and I would do it involuntarily. It just happened, like he's about
Yeah.
to do something.
Yeah.
And it took me a while for me to get out of that, right? I have a
Mhm.
reflex. If I'm walking and you tap me from behind, I will grab your hands and twist it, because that's my protective
Mhm.
stand. I had to learn some mechanism to protect myself for nobody to attack me, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
skills, I kept it because I don't want anybody taking advantage of me, something
Right.
Mhm.
that I have not given permission to. But the fear, the anger. I have so much anger. Like, Kay took the brunt of it. My husband took the brunt of it because I was such an unhappy woman, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it was just crazy. I couldn't break
Mhm.
myself out of that cycle. So I was worried about what other people would think if I
Mhm.
talk about my story. But now I'm up to the, like, I have surpass that. I don't
Yes.
worry about what people will say. I'd rather you read the
Mhm.
book, you ask questions, and then you 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 you
Mhm.
let me know what you have learned out of that, what you have taken
Mhm.
from that, and what are some of the things that you would like for me to write more about it, because we need to heal. Every
Yeah.
person who has been born in Ghana, from early 2000 down, I don't know about nowadays, has been traumatized somewhat. The ones who got slapped, who got hit with flying pine, who got, like, it's just crazy. So a lot of
Okay.
people don't realize.
Yeah. I'm going to pause here and read some comments that Nanaraba put because they are quite let's see. She says exactly, acknowledgement, impression without expression becomes repressed, leading to depression. A
That's
lot
right.
of people are holding things back, and you see it in the interactions out there. There's the people that you talk to, the least thing you say, they blow up.
Yeah.
And so maybe
Right.
something you did or said is their trigger and you don't know it. So you have to bear the brunt of that. And then Anadra says, Sister Adra, some adults don't know. Besides, hurt people. We're seeing a lot of that. And that's all they know and probably refuse to unlearn to relearn. Our biggest problem is failing to come to a place of self awareness and telling myself that, hey, I'm going to, there's something wrong. I'm going to try and be better,
Hmm.
you know? It's like me, I've said before in the past that when I came to Canada in my 20s, whatever, I seemed to be very angry, just angry. And when you think back to it, it's a lot of repressed emotions because when you are growing up, you are not allowed to feel your feelings. If something happens with your sibling and you're talking about it, oh,
Yeah.
and if you only penny this, they tell you all kinds of things. So you don't know you are walking around with that baggage. Yeah, you relate, huh? Oh, you
Yep.
penny, blah, blah, blah.
Only penny. Yep.
So for me, even sometimes when I hear my husband something will happen and he'll say it to our oldest girl, I'm thinking that is a trigger. She doesn't have to be doing anything because she's the eldest. The younger one too should also be responsible or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
So you are carrying around. And for me, I came to this place. I don't know what I was looking for, but I just started to work on myself. I would go to the library and pick up these basic psychobabble books and be reading. And then I found, I don't know how I did it, but I started that way. And
Mm.
getting a positive attitude, how you react, how you cope with things. But how many people, and I'm not saying it was anything so outstanding, but it's just a matter of that awareness that, hey, I want to be better and to start to work on yourself and your responses to people. But not many people want to do that. Um, Sister Eunice says, no, this one. She says,
Yeah.
hit with slippers, brooms, warmer. And then another says, hey, asem na wa boss no.
Na kwe aha na ọbẹyẹ na eyi ni promo to
We
eyi.
need to
And
delete
then
that.
Sister Afi says, that is a long
Sister ya delete ẹ no kura mẹ́nfa
No,
ma.
don't worry about it. Just carry on. We're not going to acknowledge that one.
Mm.
Yeah, so basically, so how do we heal from trauma, sister? Like, are there, apart from like you were talking about going for therapy and this and that, but are there other means that
Yeah, I mean, we also need to put it out there, parents. When
Mhm,
you have more than one child and you comparing your children, that
mhm,
is wrong. You can traumatize your own child.
yeah,
When they have an exam, their grades. If it's not well, try to identify areas that they're struggling to help them excel instead of
mhm,
comparing. Don't put too much pressure. As Sister Ya Watuma also has experienced that, because she's the oldest, so she has to deal with every bullshit
mhm,
that the youngest come about with that.
mhm,
You need to have accountability and everything. You hold yourself accountable, like
yeah,
in terms of, okay, this is what happened to me. This is where I'm at. What can
Mhm.
I do to feel better? What can I
Yes.
do to heal from this? Because we can never change the past no matter what we do.
mhm,
We need to be able to identify what is holding us back, right? What are some of the things that you lacking of? How do you go about to acquire that? It's by acquiring knowledge, right? You learn things. Some of it, sometimes we don't even think it. When you learn how to have effective communication, you will love yourself
Mm.
because you can talk to anyone. It don't matter if the conversation has anything to do with something that you know. The fact that you'll be able to express yourself and engage with other people that can help you be able to open up, right? For me, I did not see any counselor. I learned coping skills, how to exercise patience, how to compromise with situation, because when you're in a relationship, you're not the only one in there. You're
Mhm.
not the only important person. The other person is raised from different upbringing. So you guys need to learn to compromise, right? Respecting yourself and loving yourself, right? Caring for yourself, being learning to be selfless. Don't be selfish. When it comes to self everything, be selfish, because I am selfish when it comes to myself. I'm not hurting anybody. But when you are with somebody, you have to understand that both you and your partner, your children, your family, people around you are important. But you always have to prioritize yourself first. Don't worry about what others will say about you or think about you. When it comes to Ghanaians, majority of them, if you do good, they will talk about you. If you do bad, they will talk about you. So what else is new? You know, you just have to like press forward in terms of, okay, what do I need to do? Can I help myself by learning coping mechanism to, kind of, it's like a pillar for you. What keeps you going? All right. So you build that around you before. Don't worry about other people's problems. Solve your own, right? Worry about yourself. Don't. So it's like a lot of times is the self. You always need to focus on the self. Trauma
But
becomes
sis, we've
term.
been brought up in an environment where everybody has to be altruistic.
Mhm.
And I always make this statement about the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
But we love our neighbor and we forget ourselves. So a lot of people are walking around with a lot of guilt.
Mhm.
Oh, if I'm taking care of myself or if I draw boundaries, they'll say I'm selfish. Oh, I'm this way. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
that way. So, how do you tell people to, you know, um, get out of that cycle? Some may need help to get out of thinking or feeling that way.
Well, to tell people, like, first of all, in order to get there, you have to break the cycle, right? How do
Mhm,
you break the cycle? Not following the norm, right? Our culture, tradition, sometimes there are a lot of things in our culture and tradition. We need to break it. We need to look at look at it again. It doesn't work for us because there was no women part of it. It was men made, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes when you're trying to make a point, they would be like, "Oh, our culture this, our culture that." Forget about my culture this. What about how I feel? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Right? So, like, you in a circle, it goes round and round, and you tracing back and forth. How do you
Mm.
do that? By learning something new. When you learn something new and you practice that and you start implementing that, right? That's the beginning of breaking that cycle. You no longer following people's rules. Now you making your own rules based on how you feel, what
mhm,
makes you happy, uh, what can you do to focus on your present and future, because a lot of us, we carry baggages. Sister Ya,
mhm,
what Ma said it, we carry baggages, and every relationship or people that we interact with, we bringing it along and we asking, we need help,
mhm,
and you need to help me in this. No, we have to stay away from that. You are responsible for you. I'm responsible for me. So stop looking elsewhere for people to fix you. Nobody can fix them. So that's how we break the cycle. We do things on our own. If we cannot do it, that's when you look for professional, talking to a counselor, a therapist. There's,
mhm.
just because of that, don't just think, say, oh, I'm sick. I have to be sick before I see a counselor. No, sometimes it's for them to direct you to the right path, because some of us cannot self regulate ourselves. I mean, I have gotten to the point you can give me a
Hello,
word.
Tony, you are late.
I know, Tony, you are late, late, late today. So someone
Whoop.
can well, someone can just say a word like, support. And I can use support to do a lot of things. How do you support someone? I can support someone by just listening to the person, right?
Mm.
Or talking to the person. If the person need financial help, I can help the person one or twice, but I'm not going to do it for the rest of their life or have them feel entitled.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain to them, I can support you for once or twice, but the rest you're going to have to do on your own. Ghanaians tend to enable a lot of people, and just support foolishness, things that will
Yeah.
not grow, right? I am.
Yes, sis, so I'm going to interject for the sake of what we're talking about here. You said even sharing or talking to somebody. So basically, we're trying to help people to learn or focus on healing from their trauma. So, in terms of sharing, maybe we need to identify that it has to be a safe space
Yeah.
because, with us, we can't just get up and go share with anybody.
Mhm.
Sometimes you may even go and share in church and it's known among the congregation. So, you are not going around talking to loose lips that sink ships, right?
Mhm.
So, it's you have to be discreet in who you speak with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want you to come up with more examples of how or what we talked of therapy. So then, talking to somebody, the safe space thing, there's self-care, there's self-love, but are there other things so that people get that out of this session that, hey, maybe I didn't know this avenue is also open to me, so let me explore it.
Yes, they do have group counseling. It's not just you. You have
Yeah.
a whole other people who are also going through some challenges, and trying to deal with their trauma. So sometimes even listening to someone's story can also help to motivate you to be able to open up. And everything that you discuss, you with strangers, you're not with someone that is have a loose mouth, because they have guidelines in place. Nobody, they have their own problem. They don't have the time to go and talk about your problem that you share. So, and it's good to be part of group therapy, because it's not just you. Sometimes it's difficult to just be the only one and talk about some of the things that you went through, because sometimes with counselors, right? They have the tools to help you gradually, but even if they're going to make a lot of money out of you, trust me that. Yeah, because sometimes a word that they might say may re-trigger you, right? So instead of progressing, you will regress, right? And when that happens, you have people who needs to be on medication just to kind of like keep themselves calm. Sometimes you have people who go see a counselor, they're unable to really connect the pieces, because they can't really share it, because they're still fearful of, if they talk about it, something bad might happen and stuff like that. You can also learn coping skills, right?
Yeah.
When you Google on coping skills, self-talk. I
Yeah.
love self-talk. Sometimes I'm talking to myself. I even want to ask myself out. Like, yeah.
Ajua, you're certifiable.
I do. Does I have a question. Does certain boundaries come in here, like setting healthy boundaries? It
Yes.
comes in here. Okay.
Yes. You have to. I mean, like, boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries is in every situation is very important, right?
Right.
Because if you don't set boundaries, there's going to be things that will happen around you. Even sometimes the counselors, before they even take your case, they will give you a contract to sign,
Okay.
because they also have to set boundaries of things that you should not be saying, because sometimes some people may find their counselors attractive, and then they will start speaking inappropriately
Inappropriate.
or
Right.
being
Right. Right.
sexually inappropriate. So boundaries is always needs to be put in place, right?
Right.
And that's why it's good to have a counselor, because counselor, they know the underlying, you know, things when you step in outside of that. People who do not have that knowledge, you can talk about it, because when you go to social media, sometimes I hear certain things and I'll be like, okay, the host should say something, because that is inappropriate. It shouldn't be happening. People being attacked and stuff like that. So boundaries is like a number one thing. We always have to set boundaries. Even being here, Sister Ya has boundaries, right? So it's like we know what we can say, what we cannot say. At the same time, she
Yeah.
gives us open her platform for us to be able to provide adequate information that will help all of us.
So, to summarize this part, okay, I'll read this first. Nanaraba says some counselors can be so abstract. Glad you are not one. Yeah, they won't go well. Anyway, we won't get into that. So, basically, in terms of healing from trauma, so Sister Adjo has mentioned therapy. We've talked about safe spaces, and then reaching out for support to the right people. I know. Sister Otima had put a comment. Yeah, it's very important, because if one talks to the wrong person, that can worsen their situation.
Yeah.
And then also, she's talked about healthy coping mechanisms. So there's also self care, self love, and then I had a comment about finding a creative outlet. Maybe if you go, you do something, find some outlet to somebody might be doing art or music or something, anything that, helps you
Yeah.
to deal with your trauma. Hmm.
Meditation, doing
Yeah,
exercise. Sister, I read that, and after that, I will.
yeah. And Tony says, I think with regards to seeking help from professional about what you are battling or going through, because of most people's experiences in life pertaining to some of these things, most people thought that they had good friends they could speak to, but it later turned out to be something else when they had confusion and got split, or like when you break up. I don't know
With
if you
yeah.
mean situations like, okay, I'm friends, very good friends with Sister Jo or Sister Ya, and then once we start getting into a
Oh.
problem, then all the secrets are out. I saw somebody did a video about that why can't you just keep quiet? Is there a need for
Mhm.
that? So, and oh, he says, do I have to tell everyone? I mean, every friend in my life, because I no, you don't talk to everybody. You have to be discerning, you know, like you have this particular people that you may talk to about certain situations, and then another friend may be for another situation. But at the end of the day, you have to use wisdom. If you think that you're going to be betrayed and suffer grave consequences for it, rather go the professional route. Like if I know that I'm going to be talking to friends who are gossiping about me, all I have to do is go to YouTube and Google how to deal with it, and then some I can use and start to build myself. So you have options. There's a lot of options out there. Yes, and Sister Eunice says that so sad how friends turn out like that. Exactly. Miss H says boundaries are important to make the relationship as professional as possible and the therapy effective. Thank you. So Sister Adjoa, continue and then we'll hit
Yes. So some of the coping skills, doing exercise will help.
mhm,
Doing
mhm,
meditation. If you have never done
mhm,
meditation, you start with
mhm,
5 minutes. You can use with music or without music. Self-care. I talk
mhm.
about self-care a lot. That
Yeah.
helps me break the cycle because you need to prioritize yourself, work on yourself.
Mhm,
Whereas, you loving yourself, you do self-assessment, you learn to build your self-confidence because a lot of people who have been traumatized, our self-esteem are very low, right?
mhm.
You also need to, Sister Ya, you need to delete this person. You also
Oh,
need to.
sorry. Please, sis, don't be so quick. I've been deleting it. They keep putting it back on. So I've blocked them
Yeah,
and
I
yet it's
see
still
you blocked
appearing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So you you need to avoid having an addiction because some people who have been traumatized, they become alcoholic, they start doing drugs, they start gambling, they become sexual, they have sex addiction, whereas they sleeping with whomsoever, they do self-harm things to themselves, right? So you need to avoid
mhm,
having any type of bad addiction. You also need to always acknowledge your feelings because a lot of times, some of us, we will say we will always talk about the other person, but we don't acknowledge our feelings. All right, don't do that. Acknowledge your feelings if you feeling saying because even in the book I express, Sister Ya helped me even kind of tone down some of the things that I said because it's like I wanted my parents to like harm my uncle, this uncle. I mean, I was rooting for that. I wanted him to feel the pain that I was feeling, but it didn't happen like that. And I was very
mhm.
disappointed, right? So don't be disappointed if things does not happen the way that you want it to happen because it's not about the person, it's about you, right? So a lot of times the focus, we put it everywhere. Don't
Yeah.
scatter things everywhere. Focus on you. What are some of the things that you need in your life? Focus on our need. We all have desires. Are not as important as the need. Again, here versus again, I will pay, right? what we need is the most important thing. So, Sister Eunice says self care is so important. One time, all I did was take myself to go get a pedicure and manicure, and I was amazed how satisfying that felt. Little,
I was going to talk about that
yes.
we fail to even spend on ourselves. Let
Mhm.
me
Yeah.
tell you this, Mikrom, for you see, we are so big on working, we become workhorses. We are working and sending our money to people instead of focusing on our own needs.
Mhm.
Basic things like a pedicure, manicure, go for a spa day, even take yourself out for a treat, go to a movie, something that helps you. You incorporate it into your daily existence because life is stressful.
Mhm.
Life is very stressful and you need downtime. You need to R&R, take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
some of these things we must do. You don't feel guilty when you're spending your own money. Those people, you choose to. You are not forced to. Nanaraba says, I found prayer, scripture, self talk, talking to the right people, and worship helps a lot. Phew, it has taken me through some tough times. I hear you right there. That is like you have a rock that you are standing on. So for me, if the word of God is telling me something, you can't come and tell me otherwise. That's what ministers to me. Maybe you have something different, but don't come and negate my experience. So, each person has what they what is good, what helps them. Nanaraba says, I just did my own nails and painted, not pink, painted hot pink. I love pink. Oh, that's
That's true.
okay. So quickly, because time is fast
Okay.
spent.
So, like, also go for massage.
Just give me a sec, sis. I was just going to say, let's highlight quickly on what happens if we don't. Like, just we've talked about how to heal from trauma. So we've mentioned a lot of the coping skills that you can develop, but what happens, because I want to summarize what happens if you don't, so that it pushes back to then it is important that you seek out these steps that we have put
Yeah.
out. Mhm.
Okay. Um, just to what happens if you do not, heal
Mhm.
from trauma? Like, you become, I mean, we already spoke about it. Most people develop mental health issues,
Mhm.
including depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and so many others. Some people will be like, okay, I think it's in the family. No, stress can develop depression. Okay, when you are stressful, you feel like you being um how do I say, oh, I can't think of the word, when people pressure you to do things, right?
Mhm.
Don't do things that you
Peer pressure.
peer pressure. Thank you, that's the word. Don't allow yourself to do that. Acquire knowledge, right? When you don't learn things, people will manipulate you. They will use your weakness
Yeah.
against you, right? They will tell you your mother is a witch. Meanwhile, and then you supporting them, you taking care of them, you sending your money to them, for them to do fasting and stuff, and they're going to be a chop bar to eat fufu and have like some beer and all that. Don't get yourself into that. In terms of like, your relationship will not last, your marriage will not last, your relationship with your children will be
Mm.
functional. There's always going
Mhm.
to be a situation where someone is suffering. You won't be able to give the support system that your own children will need.
Need. Yeah.
Times you will even miss a lot of red flags, things that are happening to your own children. Your children will grow up to either be a victim or an
Mhm.
abuser, right? So we want to break that cycle to kind of embed them the healthy the healthy coping skills that they will be able
Mhm.
to use to protect themselves from
Mhm.
being abused, being traumatized, and so forth. So it's always important for us to, like, learn to heal. If we don't heal now,
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot of problems, self harm. Some people will end up taking their own life, committing suicide. We don't want that because every life is precious, right?
Yes.
Some people will end up being bullied on social media. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we don't want to fall victims of that. How we people will demand so much from you, and you may feel
Mm-hmm.
pressure, but you will not have anyone to talk to. Bye, sis. I will not recommend anyone to talk to best friends, some family members about their trauma. For me, people that I spoke to was my baby sister, Chris Cross. Most of you have met her. My mother. Those were the two, my go-to person. The only time that I expressed certain things with my husband was with my anger issue because I needed him to understand where I'm coming from,
It's coming from.
where I developed that. But aside from that, other things, where a cousin almost, raped me, that did not come about until when I was ready to write the book and everything
Mm-hmm.
because it came about in there. So there are certain things, you have to be very mindful who you sharing your stories with. Rather
Yes.
than you write a book, you reach out to Sister Ya. She's gonna coach you. She's going to help you publish it, to write your own story instead
Mm-hmm.
of telling people because other people will not tell your story as you told them. They will they
Yes.
will pick things out and put something in, and sometimes they end up traumatizing you more. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be very mindful. That's why it's also good to see someone who
Mm-hmm.
respect hip, HIPAA, your privacy. They don't put your things
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Pastor P says if you're traumatized by your past, it will be hard to move forward in life or be successful. That is so, so important. At the end of the day, you must realize that you are in life. You are showing up as yourself. How are you showing up? And if you are not dealing with your issues, your situations, you're not going to be showing up in a very positive way, and you'll be living half your potential because there's a lot inside you that is not coming out because you refuse to change. And in our society, we are caught in a lot of these dynamics. We feel, I think we carry be your brother's keeper, not that we are, but I'm using that term loosely. We carry it too far because people are so prescriptive. They want you to live the way they think. They want to tell you how to be. Like what Sister George said about the book. You know something, when you decide to write books or even do a family, write your life story, a lot of people are not going to like it. There's going to be a lot of, what do you call it? Dysfunction and dissension going on. Well, look at President Trump when his niece wrote about him. But you are the one writing your story. It's from your perspective. It is your truth.
yeah,
Nobody can come and counter it. So we've said a lot here today. We've been talking about you have to own some of these things. You are you. What is hurting you? You are hurting inside and you're busy hurting people because you refuse to acknowledge, even sit down and become self aware and say, I have a problem. How do I get out of this problem? Who can I speak to? Can I find a safe space to go interact with somebody and get some help? So that's what we've been here talking about. So, a lot of times we come and this is a very big problem in our community. A lot of people are very, what word should I use? We are unwell. I use it in quotes.
yeah,
We're unwell. Yeah, there's a lot going on
yeah.
with us that we refuse to deal with, right? And
Mhm.
so it's showing up. We are not progressing in life, yet we think we are okay. And so these are the people you meet, and because they don't understand why somebody over in that corner is trying to go here, they don't understand the concept, so they view it as, oh, mochire moho, what are you doing over there? That's not important. Let me sit here. But that is not we each have individual lives. Look, if you come into my life, whatever I have to give you is what I'll give you. And for me, it's positive, it's encouragement and all that. Imagine if, by the same token, this statement that I've made, whatever I have is what I'll give you. Imagine if it's a friend who's a negative person. You go and tell them what you want to do. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, I tried it, it didn't work. That person failed. No, you need to live a healthy life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and everything in between.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to do the commercials.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, Sister, yeah, you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm I'm actually failing miserably when it comes to um putting my book out there this year. I haven't really been active on social media this year at all. I mean, I've been trying once or twice, but yeah, that's my book, Echoes of Ya BBR's Chronicles, and it's a book on my introspective journey and some stories in there and various topics. And this is because I feel that we need this in order to build the next generation.
Mhm.
Someone put out there that hurt people, and
Yes.
as we're talking about trauma, yeah, you need to do that introspective journey because the first step is to confront whatever that you went through. So yeah, get my book and see if it helps you, and let me know. Thank you. Oh, and
Awesome.
my yeah, my
Mhm.
handle on all social media platforms is at Tia Russell Hints. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Sajwa.
Okay, so since you guys are here to support us, make sure you make a trip to Amazon. You of course you get to say what's in my book, Chronic of Echo, and then you get Sister Ya all five books because her book also helped me. My book, get a copy of it, Unveiling My Life, a guideline to breaking free and reclaiming my life. This is my way of giving back and also helping myself heal fully in terms of my trauma, things that I endure, what I did to overcome that, and where I'm at now, which everybody knows I'm more happier than. So I mean, get the book. Let me know what you think, okay, guys, because there's more to come. But this is something dear to my heart. So yeah, get a copy to support your sister. I do.
Yes.
Thank you. And so this is Auntie Yaa'S Book Corner. It's based on my 5 books that were written between 2020 and 2024. The first one is Reflections for a Thirsty Soul. It's a book of inspiration. At the time, it was COVID time. So just the panic, the rush that's going on. And you tell yourself, is that all there is to life? Is there more? Get that book and your soul will be revived. The second is The Beauty of a Woman's Heart. Women, we are nurturers, caretakers, and everything in between. You are a lawyer, you're a teacher, you're a nurse, pharmacist, everything. But sometimes we don't take care of ourselves. And especially if you are a woman from our community, it would seem that the expectation of you is to be a workhorse. Woman, you also have a life to live. What is your passion? What do you want to do aside of your roles that you play, being a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, what have you? So this book is it will get you thinking. It's got reflective questions too that you can answer. And any child from 10, even 8 can read it. If you want to empower the next generation, empower your daughters, nieces, that is a book to get.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is Reflections for Refreshing for My Weary Soul. It's a devotional. So what it is I take passages from the Bible and I weave my insights and write about it. I also have a section in there called Practical Nyamisem. It's just about the comment that I made about love your neighbor as yourself, but we in our community, we love our neighbor and we forget ourselves. So those are my insights of how I see the way we worship God. So there's different stories in there. Get that and you'll be blessed. Own it. I I've made a joke that if I had money, lots and lots of money, I'll put this book in whatever drone, go throw it all over the land of Ghana. Own it. It's a guide to taking accountability and responsibility for your own life journey. Listen, some of us, we grew up when you haven't come outside here, it would almost seem like everything gets done for you. Then, plum, you find yourself in a different environment. You have to wake up, stand on your own 2 feet. You have to own your life journey. If you want to be successful, you have to make it happen. Pastor P had put a comment that if you don't deal with your trauma, you can't move forward and be successful. And the enablement that Sister Ya mentioned there, we are so entitled, we enable people, we don't allow people to take responsibility, we do for them. You are sitting here working hard, killing yourself, sending money to somebody who should be working with their own 10 fingers. And there's nothing wrong with saying it, yet we won't say it. So these are some of the things. Own it is something that every young person, old person must read. The fifth book is My Unapologetic Self. It is a guide to being real and living life on my own terms. I spoke about the school of public opinion. In our community, everybody has an opinion about how you should talk, how you should think. And so if you say something contrary to somebody's view, then you become public enemy number one. Look, we were raised with values, good values, some not so good. You were programmed. When you grow up, you start to sift through it and say, how do I become myself? I realized that, a lot of things have been put on me, but who am I? At the end of the day, I have to find myself, find my convictions, my value, and be able to live unapologetically. In life, a lot of us are so afraid of each other. We're so afraid of other people. I'm afraid of my friend. I can't upset them. Oh, they'll be mad at me. Are they breathing for you? Is the question you should ask yourself. Even your husband will not breathe for you. If you needed oxygen, they'll give you your own tank. So stop being afraid of people and live your life to the fullest. So I'll go to Pastor Patience Edward. Pastor Patience is a health advocate. So if you need like ASEA, okay, I take ASEA and it maintains a healthy inflammatory response. It improves the health of the immune system. It improves production of digestive enzymes and promotes gut health. It also helps control hormonal imbalance and many other things that it does. If you have any needs, please contact her and discuss your situation with her, and you'll go from there. As well, she's a tap send agent. When you do your first transaction, sending money, you get a 15% discount when you use her code Lady P, just that one time. And also their sister Sika educates. Sika does a lot of educational programs. Go to her platform and she does webinars, always offering insights and deep learning. There's just different topics. You can learn a lot from her. She's also an ASEA advocate. So contact her for your needs. Their sister Awomrekwa does lunchtime talks. I haven't seen her recently, but she's more active these days on TikTok. So watch out for her on that platform. Their sister Aisha Ankara. Aisha does not do programs, but she supports all the ladies who do programs. And she's a Juice Plus agent. She's an Avon lady for those of you who live in Britain. She also home decor. She does home decor, and then there's also cooking utensils and other kitchenware that she sells. So please contact her for your needs. There's Miss Sage, sageshare.com. Miss Sage, Sister Adwa.
Sister Sage, said a lot of authentic merchandise. You see the shirt I have on. That's one of the shirts that I buy from her. She had the design, so it's like if you uh, want to, she sell dresses one size fits all. The 85% of it is that 15% of your waist have to be 32. She sells cream, jewelries, other accessories, scarf, everything, handbags and stuff like that. So you go to sageshare.com. When you go in there, if you see a design you like, you don't see it in the color that you would like, please just continue, order whatever. Once you're done, your email is a must. Your phone call is optional. Once you send the order, she will reach out to you, talk to you to get confirmation of your order. And then there's a comment box that you can put the color of the shirt that you're looking for in the design that you just selected. And then her customer service is fantastical. If she tells you you're going to get it within a week, you're going to get it within a week. In fact, I just got this a week ago. I didn't get to wear it
I
last week
like that
because I
design.
Thank you. I did not do programs. So let's support each other. Thank you guys very much. Go to
Okay,
Amazon and Sages, okay?
okay.
Sages.com.
Carrying on. So, Auntie Yaa'S Own It Academy, Sister Joa started the plug. We provide book coaching and publishing services. Yes, Sister Joa worked with me to get her book out.
That's
And
right.
I am a ghostwriter. I can help you write your story. So contact me and we can go from there. Listen, Pastor P just had a comment. I think let me read that. She said, as Ajua is saying, voice your trauma, write a book, help the kids in your community so they don't go through what you went through. Trauma is from one generation to another if we don't speak up.
Mhm.
Your voice is your power. So
That's
contact me and I'm here to serve and support you. Your story must be told, whatever it is. It can be any facet of anything. Maybe somebody wants to write about their music, anything that you want to write about, it is possible. Don't sit down and think that you can't do it. I did a video yesterday on TikTok, and so I'll go to this now. Give me a second. I did a video yesterday on TikTok. I'm not able to do lives on there yet because I can't invite guests on, but Authors Hub Y2A is made up of Foda Atobra, Boatma Boating Russell, and Ajua Odosasu Mensah. So between us, these are the books that we've presented to you. They are all on Amazon. There's deep insights and nuggets in there that you can benefit from. So a lot of times, this urban myth that we say that, oh, if you want to hide knowledge from Obibinia, put it in a book because we don't like to read. We need to get away from it. Reading is your power. It energizes you. You learn and you grow. I'll tell you a silly story. So my desk area where I used to work, I hadn't tidied it in a while. I went to the Dollar Tree and got myself some bookcases, and then I came and put all my books on that desk in there. So now when I go there, I can see the books and I sit down and I pick one and I read.
mm,
And I love doing that because you get ideas to talk
Mhm.
about.
that's
Mm.
So we'll be coming live at some point in time, but in the meantime, I do videos. I'll put one out on Wednesday. So, support this group. The thing about it is that we are here to share opinions, and I find that on TikTok, it can degenerate very rapidly. But if you are a positive platform, people who want positivity will gravitate towards you. So
yeah.
support
Yeah.
Authors Hub Y2A. And so going back to the book publishing, so Sister Boatima Boating Russell's book, I provided proofreading and editing services. So what we're talking about here is collaboration. Amongst our people, we are into so much PhD, but yet in some aspects of it, there's a lot of things that are going on.
Hmm.
People are collaborating with each other. It's the way to go now. You need to help build each other up. Let's build each other up. So
That's
with that, let's see. Let's summarize. Is there any last comments that you want to add on briefly? Yeah. Sorry, Ajoa, and then we're
yeah.
doing summary now.
I mean, if trauma left untreated, one can experience nightmare, develop insomnia, where if you have a nightmare, you will try to sleep less, so you won't be able to sleep a lot. We already talk about anxiety and depression. Some people will have substance abuse, panic attacks. When it comes to the physical aspect, some people will have extreme fatigue. And I believe
Mhm.
Sister Sage also put something out there. I don't want to, she have, when trauma does not heal, there is anger, bitterness, flashback and panic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She put it
Mhm.
earlier when we were doing the promo, so I didn't want to repeat the
Here,
same thing that
he says. When trauma does not heal, there's anger, bitterness, anxiety, and flashback. Okay, so let me correct something. Pastor P does not do tap tap send anymore, so we'll stop
Okay.
that commercial. I remember that I did not speak about Blue Bridges coaching. So her comment, I remembered, and then I saw her comment. So let me put it in. Pastor P is a coach. She is very efficient, very direct. She doesn't put, you will do the work. She will tell you the truth and you will do the work. If you are interested in doing the work, you will do it. I've done coaching with her and it's helped me immensely. And that is one thing as a people. Some of these things that we are discussing here, it involves paying to get better, investing in yourself to be a better version of you. Are we given to investing in ourselves? Would rather give our monies to people for them to say, oh, they are so good, they do this, they are helping people back home, they are doing this. Are you helping yourself? So please contact Pastor Patience for your coaching needs. And go on her page and read the reviews. Blue Bridges Coaching. All right. Any last thoughts? Yeah.
Um, Not really, but yeah, I remember you saying that somebody might be here and they would want to know how, and it got me thinking about for those in Canada, most of the jobs that we do, they do give us benefits,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes.
hardly do we use them. I've met
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who haven't even um they don't even know what it's covered or not, but most of these benefit cover counseling, therapy,
Yes.
even you know they have all sorts of things that they cover, but
Mm-hmm.
generally therapy is in almost all the ones that I saw. And I'm even talking about doing part-time at Superstore. So if you're doing other, high-end jobs and
Mm-hmm.
you're not paying attention to this, you can do this. And because of COVID, most of these things are done virtually now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the therapists are doing online counseling, so you don't really have to go and sit on their couches. If you feel like you don't want anybody to see, you can do this in your bedroom, in your houses, and it will help you. So because we don't want to be living life with a whole um load of things that we don't need. And
Mm-hmm.
in one of the comments, it talk about not being able to live to your full potential. And it is true. You will not be
Yeah.
able to venture into things because you're living afraid, you're living angry, anxious, all those things, guilty. You don't need that. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I have to say.
You are right, yeah, because I remember when I was working, we had employee assistance program. And yeah, I
Mm,
did go take counseling through them. So you have to
right.
do what you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have come to the end of the program. We've been talking about healing from trauma. Our guest today was Sister Ajua Odo Mensah. You've heard a lot today. You've gotten a lot of insight. So I hope that it will help you take some action. So this year we're about the business of collaboration. So in 2 weeks' time, which is April 20th, Russell and I will be on if she's available. But in May, the first Saturday of May, the first program that we do in May, will have Mrs.
Mm.
Eunice Otima Atisogbe to. She
Wow.
will be our guest. We'll be talking about some of the things, when we talk about wills and not necessarily wills, but if something were to happen to you right now, do you have a document that will tell your next of kin that, maybe they need to take care of this or they need to take care of that, or if you have to have some surgery done, like those kinds of things that we don't pay attention to? Do your family members know everything about you, your bank accounts, where everything is?
Health
So,
directives and
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
do it.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, Sister Afi, she said, I've learned a lot today. Thanks so much, you ladies. You are so
Thank
welcome. Thanks for
you.
joining us.
Welcome.
And
And
I
it's
love your hair.
Yeah,
very
Sister Afi is also an author and she's on TikTok. So please follow
okay.
her.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
Okay.
follow you.
please follow her on TikTok and Facebook.
Pastor
Yes.
P here.
And it's always good to distress so as not to be in distress. Yes, thank you for that. Okay, so thank you so much. I won't mention names, but all of you who came on today, we appreciate your support. Continue to watch this platform for the weekly videos. And if you have any topic of interest that you feel you want us to discuss, do not hesitate to DM us. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Have a
Thank you.
great weekend. Bye
You
for now. Thank you, Sister Ajua, for being on. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. Take
Take
care.
care.
Thanks, Sister Ya. The 2 years for having me on.